Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to your Vet Lloyd YouTube channel. You guys are going to get so much informative information. This is going to help your childcare business. It's going to help you avoid a lot of things. I have been in the childcare business for 13 years and it has not been easy at all. It's been a tough time. I've been through a lot of things, and throughout this channel, I'm going to share many of my experiences and many do's and don'ts when you're in the childcare business and everything. But today, we're going to focus on how did I get started. Well, let's get to it. So, I started in 2008 when I had filed for my LLC, and I started babysitting children inside of my home. It was so freaking dope. I loved it. I was getting paid the same thing that childcare centers was getting paid. Some people didn't like the fact of just the childcare business overall. People just didn't like it. They wasn't feeling it or nothing. So I was just like, let me just go ahead and step this game up to another level. And from me doing childcare so long, I had started working in the childcare field when I was 18. I could not find a job for nothing. So my nephew ended up enrolling into a daycare center, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this. So let me be here so I could watch him and work at the same time. And they end up hiring me, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So it's so funny because originally I was in school to become a nurse. And while I was in nursing school, I'm like, okay, this is cool. But I end up finding myself having a love and passion for children. So I end up going to school for early childhood education. And I loved every moment of it. It was so cool. And I just enjoyed it a lot. So that's where it really came from, the heart of me actually wanting to get into childcare just by working in the field. So fast forward back up to me actually getting kids to come into my home and for me to watch them. It was really dope. But then I ended up getting in a relationship and I stopped watching children. A lot of my kids ended up moving out of the state. So I was just like, okay, let me go into something else. So I started working for Head Start. And then it was just all of a sudden, I just got into like a rock and a hard place. And I'm like, what is my next move? What am I going to do? And I literally had nothing in my house because I ended up breaking up. Me and my boyfriend ended up breaking up, and I ended up moving back home. And I didn't have furniture or nothing like that because I was renting out my house for someone else that was staying here. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So with me going through that process and figuring out, okay, let me just start a daycare business. And we have a stepping stone of daycare businesses, and it's called a Type A. I'm located in Ohio. So the Type A is basically you can't have no more than 6 kids, and you're in the house all day. You can't have nobody watch them and you leave or none of that. You got to be in the house all day. You can have someone to substitute. They can watch them while you go grocery shopping real quick, but you got to come right back. But you can't have a steady employee. It's really just you in here just working. That's just what it is. But I went through so much during that time. I couldn't afford my bills. My car got repossessed. I couldn't afford it. And I ended up starting off with 2 kids. And I think I was getting $400, and it didn't amount up to my car note and my mortgage, and it just didn't amount up to nothing. So my mom and my aunt end up helping me getting my car out of repossession, and they end up helping me for a while. So I was blessed to have a village. And then I didn't even tell them exactly what was going on with me until me actually losing my car, and I see the tow truck over here just taking my stuff away. So I'm just like, ugh. So they end up helping me for a few months until my enrollment got up and I was getting things all situated in order because I wasn't making no money for a long time. So I had to kick up the notch with the promo. I had to post a lot of things. And it was just cool that, again, I just had that support system. And so during that time, I went through a lot, and I got to a point, I think, yeah, it was about 2 years later, I end up getting licensed to have 12 children. I'm like, okay, I got me having 6 kids down pat, so I'm going to get 12. So I was able to apply for that license. I ended up getting it. I got approved for it, and it's called Type A. Type A is actually the same thing as a center as far as pay. So it was real cool. I'm like, okay, I'm in and out. And you can hire staff. You can hire staff for different shifts, and you can leave. So this is just totally different for me. So what I was doing was, when I turned into a Type A, I ended up going back to work, and I was also having my staff be here as well, so I could still have money for myself and still pay for my staff, because it was a lot, of bills that I still had to catch up on and everything. And I didn't want that whole responsibility on my mom and my aunt from helping me from different things. But it was mainly my mom for the most part. Because she had given me this house, so she already knew the burden that was on me and all the hard work that I was doing. So it was just a lot, y'all. It was just so much. So I ended up working for a Head Start with migrant students, and it was really good. And I was just able to be fortunate enough to still be able to pay staff and just do a lot of things that I couldn't do at first. But it was rough. It was so rough. I had a really hard time. But as time progressed, I ended up having 12 kids from 6 a.m. to about, most of them usually left around 3:30. And so during that time, I had another set of kids, another 12. They were coming in for my second shift, which my second shift was 3 to midnight. So I had my night kids too. So then right behind that, that's when I end up having weekends. I end up doing Saturdays. And then sometimes I also did like family night here and there, like if parents want to go out on a date with each other. So I did like a little date night, and I was able to watch the kids. I watched them sometimes until about 2 a.m. and then the parents would come get them after their date. So that was cool, little side hustle also. But it was rough my first year. I really didn't make much at all. It was probably like about $30,000 for my first year, and then every time it just kept increasing. Like it was increasing like $20,000, $30,000. It just kept increasing till I got to 6 figures, and I just been going ever since. And it's been a journey. It's been very, very amazing. I also own 2 other daycare centers, but I'm going to tell y'all about that in the near future, of running an actual center. I was licensed for 100 kids, and I did that as well. And another time I was licensed for 50 kids. And that's another time for me to explain to you about a lot of those. So please subscribe, y'all, because I got some major gems for y'all. I got some major testimonies of things that I've been through, even down to legal fees and legal issues that I've had, and how you yourself, if you end up getting in that situation, I could give you information on how to get out of it or how to avoid it, or so many other things, because I've been through a lot throughout these 13 years of doing childcare, and I don't wish it on nobody. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to help someone else to not make the same mistakes that I made during me owning a childcare business. So I really, really thank y'all for tuning in. Please, again, subscribe. I'm telling you, you will not regret this. I am going to share so much information with y'all, and I'm going to help y'all get those 6 figures, okay? Y'all gonna get it, because I'm telling you, them 6 figures can turn into $500,000 if you work it right. Okay, y'all. See you later. Peace.